Hey everybody, and welcome to my PoGo Journey episode 6. Um, this is a podcast about trainers' journey playing the game throughout the years, how it got started, what their favorite part of the game is, etc. We'll jump into that in a little bit. Today, myself, host Andres A. Corona 10 from Panama. I brought the guest. I pick him up. We have Garchomp, aka Tommy, whatever you guys wanna call him. I think it's easy. Like he's from Panama as well.
Yeah.
So let's get started. So Tommy, tell us a little bit about you, how you got started in the game.
All right. So, hi guys. Yes, my name is Garchomp. You can just call me Tommy, or also I do a few Twitch streams that also go by Yamato. Cause I like a lot of Japanese anime and manga stuff. So that's another nickname you can give me if you want. How I started with PoGo specifically? Well, basically like everybody else, I started when the game came out. Although because I use an iPhone, the game didn't come to the App Store until I think a month later. But I did use the APK to be able to get early access to it. Yeah, that was back in 2016. I've been playing ever since for the last 6 years. Jesus, it's been
It's been 6
a
years.
long time. Yeah. But besides Pogo, I've never just been like a fan of Pokemon just because of this game. But ever since I was a kid, basically it's like what 5 years old or something. I started with the anime, the TV series, and I also played a bit of the main series games through emulators on the computer. I think the first game I started with was an emulation of Pokemon Stadium, although I don't remember a lot of it. The first game I remember ever playing was Pokemon Ruby.
So let me just go get started with some rapid fire questions. They can be yes or no. If you want to elaborate a little bit, that's okay.
Go ahead.
Do you ever play any main series games?
As I said, yes, and I actually have a huge collection of them.
Oh yes, I remember that. Now I remember. Like he's from my PvP team,
Yes.
and also like from my local group, like the area group that does raid. So yes, that's awesome. We'll get to that. Does your partner play Pogo?
No.
Okay. Do you have any kids?
No.
Do you have any shundos?
No,
Do you have any pets?
I don't.
Do you set yourself a budget for Pogo?
Yes, and that's $0.
Free to play. All right. Have you ever been to the Panama Canal?
I have by car. I don't think I've ever walked inside of it. Like not on the water, like in the administration building. But
So you have never been to the actual exhibit?
the exhibit, yeah, no. Like I've been outside by car because
Yeah.
family trips and stuff, but I've never actually been inside. Surprising.
Interesting. Yeah, I am surprised.
And I've been here in Panama like my whole life, so yeah.
I'm surprised about that a little bit. Have you ever pet a kangaroo?
No, but I would love to, but I've heard it's kind of dangerous.
Do you have any Pokestops or gyms at work?
At work, well, I used to work, and we did have a couple of them nearby. We actually had one gym and maybe 4 Pokestops. I had to get out of work whenever I had time or whenever I exited the job, so I could just spend them or get the gym.
Nice. All right, those are just to get started. Okay, so now let's just do an icebreaker. So Shad, I need you guys' help. You guys see here below the Panama flag, there's a chart with normal rates, legendaries, jogger, catch, spins, and XP. So if you guys wanna, put some guesses in chat of what you think his stats are. Meanwhile,
Can I give them a hint?
Hmm?
Can I give them like a low key hint?
no,
No.
just let them.
Okay.
I mean, you said free to play.
Yeah.
You said you started in 2016. I think they can try.
Okay.
They try to guess.
All right. Okay.
So why did you start playing Pokemon Go?
Why did I start Pokemon Go? Well, basically, as I mentioned, I've been a big fan of the games and TV series ever since I was a kid. And I think it was 2014 when they released a teaser of what Pokemon Go was going to be like. Because if I remember correctly, it was a Google pranks that they did in that year, in which they show in Google Maps about different locations you can find Pokemon. And then later throughout the year, I think they sent an actual teaser trailer of what it would be. Of course, it wasn't the way that it actually is in the end, but it just hyped me up the idea that I could actually be able to play, with Pokemon in real life, in like my modern surroundings, and not just like in the Nintendo consoles. So yeah, again, it's just a huge kid's dream to be able to play Pokemon on the go just like that.
What keeps you playing?
What keeps me playing? Well, honestly, just my love for the franchise overall. Like, like I said, I've been a free-to-play player, and honestly, this is just my opinion, but I don't find like a necessity to invest money to get because again, it's a pretty casual game from what I've played.
Yeah.
You can get like like a lot of items from like Pokestops. If you have a decent gym routine, you can just put Pokemon in the gyms and get enough coins to be able to send. And if you organize and prioritize what you want to update, what you don't want to upgrade, then you can be able to play this game throughout freely. So again, my main reason to play the game is just for the love of it, and also because recently, 2 years ago, they implemented PvP, and I've always been a big fan of battling. Precisely, that's why I always keep buying the main series games because I always like to develop my thinking skills in regards to the battling aspect of the game.
So, what's your spiritual Pokemon? Spirit Pokemon.
Wait, when you say spirit Pokemon, do you mean like a favorite Pokemon or the one I identify the most?
The one you identify with most first, and then we go with your favorite.
Okay, if it's my favorite, obviously, if my nickname doesn't say it, of course, it's Magikarp. No, I'm just kidding. No, but Magikarp is really cool. It's really cool though. They overestimate the flails. But seriously though, Garchomp, yeah, Garchomp is basically my favorite Pokemon. Funny and kind of sadly though, before Garchomp, it was Flygon, another ground dragon Pokemon. But basically it was like the Toy Story meme in which you're just like, I don't want to play with you anymore. And I just basically replaced Flygon over Garchomp because I just thought it was really cool. And I actually have a story in which the first time that I ever encountered a Gible in Pokemon Diamond, that was the game that I spent the most time in. So there's a part of the game in which you can't access until you get the 6th gym. And when you get the 6th gym, you also get the HM or Hidden Move Strength. So that you can be able to access this also very hidden cave under a cycling road. Basically, unless you're like really curious. And because back then, like 2006, there weren't like guides as to where you could find Pokemon easily, like Bulbapedia nowadays. I was just randomly, stumbling upon the road. I was just walking by the limits of the area. And my character just suddenly entered this random cave, and I was just like, oh, what is this? And I just started exploring around. I happened to have a Pokemon with HM strength, so I pushed the boulders that was obstructing my way, and I was able to go ahead and find a Gible. And I was just like, oh, it looks really cute. And then also the champion from those games, Sinnoh champion Cynthia, she also had a Garchomp, and I was just thinking, man, that looks really cool. That's freaking dragon looks really amazing, and the more I learned as I was training up my Gible, it turned out to be a Garchomp, and I was just completely fascinated, and I always thought, man, this is one of the coolest Pokemon I've ever seen design-wise. I mean, it's a shark, but it's also a dragon. It's a land shark. I don't know, it's just my 10-year-old self thinking, this looks really cool, and that's basically the criteria I have for most Pokemon. If it looks really cool, it's most likely gonna be in my top 10 or top 20 or whatever. And also, that was part of the team that I used so I could be able to beat Cynthia, because as a lot of people who play the main series know, Cynthia is perhaps, if not the most difficult champion. And just being able to go through an entire month without being able to beat her and then finally get that win is just so satisfying, And yeah, I just have really fun memories of Generation 4. Even though I started with Generation 3 with Hoenn, I still feel that both it and Gen 4 are both like my home regions, or like home generations.
That's interesting because most of the people we have had is Kanto.
Kanto.
Like myself, Okay, so we got a couple guesses in chat. So 500 regular, 350 legendary, 6,000 walk, 40,000 stops. Sorry, 40,000 dashes, 15,000 stops, and 25 mil XP. Hey, maybe sweet. He's what? 44.
44, yeah.
So that gives you a little bit of a like that last one is not really close, but let's just go. Regular rates 251. Yeah. It's close. Legendary is 445.
Yeah.
Walks 5,400. Almost nailed it. Catches 75,000. Spins 28. XP 64,500.
I'm proud of it.
64 million. Sorry.
I'm proud of it as an F2P.
Free to play. All right. So you kind of went a little bit over it, but why did you choose your in-game name? Why the 15 at least? Like complete the.
Again, I was telling you before the stream, it's pretty basic like naming convention. My favorite Pokemon and just my favorite number. And it happened that I graduated high school in 2015, so there's that. I don't know, I just like the number 15 for no particular reason.
It's not your birthday. It's not like.
No, it's not even my birthday. I just happen to like it. And then and here's the funny thing. After, because I'm actually a college student, after I started like learning more stuff with involving my field, which is computer science, there's a lot of like oddly like points or like trivia things that you would think of that relate to the number 15. Like for example, like this is gonna get kind of nerdy, but like for example, if you think of like the binary code, one of the most common storage spaces that we use for like gigabytes and RAMs is 16 gigabytes. But we don't actually start from like number 1, but we start from number 0 as like our first position. So if you go 0 all the way to the 16th position, will be... yeah. So
Interesting.
again, I just didn't know about this before. It was just my random favorite number. But then as I kept growing up, I just like, oh, there's like more reasons for me to actually like this number even more.
So before I forget, I'm just gonna show you this since his camera or his game is the one on my thing. So this one was from Community Day.
Yes.
We gathered together after our team actually went up and qualified to like
It was gold.
gold. Yeah, to gold. And actually, we just did a random trade, and I just got 100% Garchomp from Garchomp. So that was kind of cool. I got 6 Garchomps at 50.
Yes.
That was number 5. But yeah, I maximal all double move. But yeah, like that was cool that he gave it to me during Community Day. Like literally.
A Hondo Garchomp from Garchomp.
A Hondo Garchomp. Every time he had a chance, he always sell like everybody.
Yes.
Good morning. Good morning. What's your start date? You said you downloaded the APK, but if you can show us like,
Oh sure.
like what was your
He actually says July 13th.
July 13, 2016?
Was that not the day? Or it was maybe a few days after? I can't
No,
remember.
that's the
Was it the
no. The start date was
I think July 6th.
July 6th. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That was like a week after.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I was July 7th. I'm always that's something that Agas always have on top of me. He started July. He started like 6.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think when I got the APK was when I was just starting my first job and everyone was just randomly playing and I just like, hey, let me get this, and I just started playing and it's like, oh, there's a Charmander, there's a Squirtle. Actually, if I can, I actually still have my starter here.
No, come on! Oh my God!
I do,
Wait,
here.
is that our first starter?
Yeah, that was my first starter.
No, I mean the first person that still has their starter.
Oh, am I?
You might.
Okay.
I don't remember. Anybody can tell me or remember? Leave it in the comments below.
Yeah, you see it. Yeah.
Oh my God!
I actually evolved it to Charizard when I had enough candidates, but I think it was before Community Day things were a thing.
It doesn't matter.
So-
It's still cool. You can always elite TM it or anything. But actually, you Dragon Claw, isn't that that's
No, it's not Community Day.
No,
Dragon Breath.
Dragon Breath.
Yeah, Dragon Breath and Fire
And
Blue.
just do the stats real quick, just so everybody knows. The starters are always 10, 10, 10s.
Yeah, 10, yeah.
So all starters are 10, 10, 10s. So yeah, that's very interesting. Actually, I was gonna say you started and you kept it. Nice.
Yeah.
Why did you start playing and how did you choose your team?
Why did I start playing?
Like, I mean, you said that you like the franchise, but it's like you said that Google, like you started like seeing the teaser, so it wasn't just because of the love of the franchise or like other friends of yours. Like how did you just like start it?
This might sound kind of like loner, but honestly, it wasn't because of my friend. It was just Pokemon. Let's go. You know. No, I've never played the Let's Go games, by the way. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, I started playing the games, and I did see my friends playing it, and because I was basically both working and stuff at the same time, I almost never had time to go out with my friends and play together. In fact, I wasn't maybe level 10 until maybe like 5 months after or something like that. I guess.
That's it's okay. I mean, you got to 40. You have the 40 badge, the legacy. Like
Yeah, I do have it.
You know, I mean,
I
you
got.
play enough too because you have quite a few PvP ones. We'll dive
yeah.
into a little bit.
Okay.
So how do you choose your team?
That was a bit of a tough process, if I'm being honest.
Tell us about it.
Because I mean, everybody was going for Mystic. That was just like the thing, you know. A lot of people were going to Mystic. Some went to Valor because they were like, you know, really competitive. That was like the color theory thing, because like you know, I've just read this. I don't know how true it might be, but like, you know, Red are just like really competitive people. The Blue are like, and I mean, no offense, it's not you, but like, you know, like the cool, kind of edgy, like mysterious, reserved people. And then there was like the Yellows, like kind of like the underdog. And also because like in the when they showed like the posters, Yellow was also usually on the side, so people usually want to pick up that because of that position. So part of me wanted to go for Yellow because I wanted to support the underdog. I was gonna be that kind of person. But when I was on the bus, on a public bus, going back home from work, I was about to choose Mystic. I was about to, but the game glitched out. You know, back then when we started, there was a lot of like
Yeah.
glitchy when it started. So, I think I choose Yellow, and then I had like a last minute switch, and I was like, cancel. I want to go for Mystic, but then the game glitched out, and I stuck with Yellow anyways. And we didn't have like the medal, so they could change it. So I was like, you know what? This is what I wanted initially, so let's go with it.
That's interesting because I never heard of that glitch or never thought about it. Like, oh yeah, you picked and then like it glitched out, the game restarted,
And then it was just that.
okay, but that's a good story that you want it to be different because the one thing about being yellow on the edge, I heard that before. I don't want to say that it was from trainer tips, but I think it was Nick that also said he picked yellow because he saw it on the edge of the infographic. Like it was the red gem, the blue gem,
And the Yellow.
and then the yellow. It was like a quarter, like
Yeah.
not even like half. It was just like little tiny corner in the edge. Like okay, there's a yellow gem, so there's 3 teams. So
Yeah.
that was that I have heard, but the fact that the game glitched and you just stuck with yellow, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's my origin story.
What's your favorite Pokemon? We went over it, kinda. Have you ever changed teams?
Even though just straight up, even though they've implemented the metal thing, they can switch over. I've never felt switching over because you know I just felt comfortable in the end. And again, maybe it was just me giving myself reasons to just hype myself more. But honestly, Zapdos as a Pokemon, I think overshadows the other ones in terms of competitive play. I mean, first of all, it doesn't have a quad weakness to Rock type. So there's that, and in the games it's also really useful for like, you know, applying paralysis status and stuff like that. And I think it's a little bit bulkier as well. So for those reasons, I decided to stick with Team Instinct.
However, change your name?
No.
Good. So, do you have any Shadow Shinies? Start showing us some stuff here.
Do? Let's see. I think I do. Shadow. There we go. I got 2 of them actually. This one I think was from not Florida. I thought it was from Florida, but yeah, I have this one, and I also have this Garland.
You have cool ones. I have the Team Rocket ones.
Which were the Team Rocket ones?
Ikens.
Oh, coughing and like Meowth.
No, Meowth hasn't. Shadow. I don't believe in shadows. They know. I have Pinsir.
Okay.
I think both are from Turkey.
All right.
They're both from Turkey. Like they were within a couple of days apart. And then I have
okay.
like the Coffins, the Ekans. Oh, this the Onomite. That was the only one. The Onomite was the only one I got. Remember when you had to do 50 grunts and 100 grunts and 50 liters?
For when you have to like level up?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Those 50 that I did, that was the only shiny I got. I did the 50 in the same day. So it's like,
wow.
I was about to cry.
You grinded a lot.
I was about to cry at the end of the day, but yeah. And then the Squirrel was recently, but yeah, otherwise I just have the Team Rocket. Those are cool. Those are cool.
Actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because that's part of the reason why I'm stuck at 44 because I just don't want to do Team Rocket runs.
Where are you at with it?
Let me see.
No, dude. Like I'm still have.
Okay, so I have 45 grunts, 23 purified shadows, and just barely 3 Team Go Rocket Wiggers.
Okay, so
I got a long way.
Can we assume that you don't like the Rockets?
No, I just find them troublesome to just grind for them, unless for like an event in which you know there's like a tap or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I would do it. But normally I just don't bother going out of my way.
You don't like them. I don't like them.
No, I don't like them.
I don't like them. Like I literally like afterwards like I didn't do a grunt or anything or a balloon for like
just a nuisance.
No, I really would love to have like a button say turn them off.
Yeah.
Like I don't want it.
Well, that would be really convenient.
Yeah.
Because you know it's really annoying when you're in a community day and you have a Pokestop, and it becomes a rocket, and you just want to spin it, and no, it doesn't let you.
That's not even. The worst is Spotlight Hour. That is just an hour.
Oh,
And you have a 15 minutes. You have this balloon fall. 20
following
minutes.
around, yeah.
You have this balloon following you around whenever you're like trying to hit the Pokestop. Yeah. I hate it. I hate it. Yeah.
I'm just gonna be there for a while, or unless it's some sort of event in which it forces me to, then I'll just leave it like that for now. Well, maybe the only incentive I have is getting that cool hat, but that's about it.
So, tell us a little bit about our community, because I'm kind of part of the community in a way. So how's your community? Like, do you play with others? Do you play by yourself? Like, what are the different things that you do? Like,
Well, I did begin like the first 2 years again because I was working and studying.
Yeah.
I mostly play by myself. That's a story I want to tell you afterwards. But yeah, I started playing mostly by myself. I did join one community before the current one I'm in.
yeah.
I don't remember what was their name. Again, I didn't speak a lot.
Very impactful with the community.
But yeah, I was just there for a while and then I just left. I can't remember what for. Oh, and then when community day started, one of my old classmates from school actually was one of the guys that started the PoGo community here, the PoGo race community.
Okay.
I don't know if I can say his name.
Yeah, you can. Okay.
Fernando or Pepe.
Okay.
So yeah, he was one of the admins that started, and I met him at one of the community days here in one of the parks that we usually go to, Parque Omar. And I was like, hey, how you doing? It's been a while. I haven't seen you. And then he told me like, yeah, I'm part of the community here. If you want to get at me. At first, I was kind of skeptical because again, I wasn't sure if I was fully committed to the idea of going along with other people. People would like, organize their raids, and I didn't want to waste people's time if I wasn't able to answer on time. So I was a bit skeptical. But then a few weeks after, and I kept texting Fernando about like raids occasionally, and he was like, dude, just join the community. I'm like, okay, fine. And I did. And again, I wasn't like still very active until a few more community days after, which I would like meet up with the people over at the park and talk to them. And eventually I found like my little niche of people, which is, the one here around our area.
Yep.
So yeah, most of the time I usually tend to play with, with you guys, or occasionally with people from the community, the larger community, since I already got a little bit more used to them.
So I'm gonna go back to that in a second. If you ever have a story that you want to tell, just say it, because otherwise I promise you will forget.
Okay.
So you told me it's like, I will tell you later. No, if you want to say it, just say it. But two things. Do you have any like online community? Like, do you have any like global groups that you do raids with, or you?
Actually, no.
Okay.
Like maybe only yours, because I did join your Discord server a while ago. But I'm sorry, I did barely participate. But besides that, I think only like the Discord server for like PvP. But again, I'm not very active on them. I just go with them whenever there's like a tournament. Most of the time.
Okay. So, what's a typical community day for you?
Wow, it's kind of changed drastically, over the last 2 years ago, obviously.
Yeah.
But before 2020, it was just okay, so we got a community that's like what, 3 hours before? Usually it would be around the time that I would exit work, around 2 p.m. So just leave work, go to the park, and meet up with people and just walk around. And the ones that would try to take advantage the most, and this is just me being compulsive, but I like to accumulate all of Stardust. Right now for Stardust, I have I used to have like 4 million a couple of months ago, but now I have 1 million. The number you guys see on screen. And that was like my main goal. Whenever there was like a Stardust boost, I would just try to catch as many as I could. The worst community day I had was definitely the Syndical one, because I think I only got one shiny, and then Fernando out of pity gave me a second one via trade. That was definitely the worst one. And the one I think that got the most was probably most likely the Gibble one.
You still have all of them?
I think I do, actually. Let's filter it real quickly. But yeah, me being Garchomp15, as soon as I heard there was gonna be finally the community day for Gibble, I was just like, I gotta save. I think I spent from my save up points, I had 2,200 that I saved up over 2 months. And shiny. Again, that was just like full gymming.
Yeah. That's cool. So you have never spent a diamond again?
No, never. I don't know how I can prove that to you, because...
No, no. What about an auto casher? Have you ever used an auto casher?
No, neither. I don't have an auto catcher either.
Nice.
Like, I've thought about the idea of it because, it's very convenient, but I don't know. I just don't find. I got too long. I don't find the necessity of it. But yeah, I think these were all from the community because none of them were from. Let's see, recent. Oh wait, no. Yeah, I think only the recent one was one lucky trade. Oh, those were from community. So yeah, they're all from community.
Yeah.
26.
I did get some from like a raid, and then they were devalue, like
Yeah,
people like to say it. But you know, it never bothers me because I feel like everything will come back. Everything is able to be like reached at some point. So that's cool. So you said you don't have an auto catcher.
No.
That ledge.
Yeah,
that's a hat.
I don't know.
Okay. Go to your Pokédex for Ditto.
Ditto, okay.
Just say, like, I don't know if you knew about that, but that's how you prove that you haven't used an auto catcher.
Ditto.
And I can explain why.
Okay.
Is it perfect? If it's not perfect, you saw it in a gym first. So, scene 79, cut 78, can I see it right?
Yeah.
So somebody like dropped it in a gym and you are not perfect, but otherwise, that's how you prove people that you don't use a Go Plus.
Oh really?
Yes, because whenever the Go Plus tries to catch a Ditto, this is a fun fact for everybody watching. Whenever the gacha tries to catch a Ditto, he knows it's a Ditto. But if you catch everything by hand, you throw at it. If it doesn't say "oh," the game doesn't. Well, the game knows, but the game doesn't put it in your decks as a Ditto. So that's a flex for it right there.
Oh, okay.
So if you ever want to tell it, it's like, yeah, I don't use it PokeGo Plus. Like here.
There you go.
Yeah.
Here's a Ditto.
Yeah, because of Ditto.
Oh,
It's
see?
yeah.
I never knew about that.
You learn something new every day.
I see there.
How do you recommend people to find their communities? Because I know sometimes people struggle, and one of the things that I'm happy about is that I can like give a chance to the people that are in rural areas for the most part
Yeah, you're street
to join the stream and like be able to do raids, but like to actually engage with people. Like, do you have any suggestions? You said you just ran into people, like just.
Yeah, surprisingly, and again, maybe I'm just really lucky, but also the fact that Panama as a country is really small. There's a running joke between Panamanians that if you met one person, there's a high chance you've met at least like 30% of the population, or at least of the city.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I think maybe the best tip I could give, and this is not just for Pokemon specifically, but like in general, if you have a hobby, I would highly encourage to try communities revolving around that hobby, because that's really maybe the best way to be able to meet people outside of like work or like college or like the usual places that you go to. Because otherwise, if you don't, you will just be stuck in your comfort zone. That reminds me of a friend back then when I was about to graduate high school. Because it post back in my social media, it's like, man, are there like any like Pokemon Go groups or like well Pokemon Go, but like main series or like also play Yu-Gi-Oh. There's like Yu-Gi-Oh communities. I didn't know anybody in back then. And my friend just gave a really simple suggestion. Hey, just go out and look up for groups of people. Social media exists. I think also there was one time I went to Florida for vacations with some friends, and I also, of course, didn't know anybody there. But I think I was suggested either by you or somebody else to just like look up online, like social media, like maybe Instagram or Facebook of any communities around that particular place that I was going to.
Yeah.
I didn't meet anyone specifically because they rejected my request first of all. They didn't let me join in because of course I wasn't from Florida. But funnily enough, I did meet up one girl at the mall because she saw me like I had my fanny pack and I had my phone being charged and I was just geeking out, and my friend was just like, "Can you stop?" And I was like, "No, I want to keep going playing." And then the girl was like, "Hey, are you playing Pokemon Go?" I'll be like, "Yeah." And then we just kept talking and eventually bonded. And that's, I think, my experience meeting other people outside. Because honestly, it still surprises me to this day how many people on a daily basis I meet. And then I just mentioned like, "Oh yeah, I had this experience because I was playing Pokemon." I was like, "You still play Pokemon Go?" I'm like, in fact, last Saturday, a few days ago, I was at the beach with some friends.
Yeah.
A friend had a birthday, and I met up with some old classmates that I haven't seen for a long time.
Yep.
And when we were walking around the beach, I told them like, "Yeah, so there's this place that we stumbled upon because I was playing Pokemon Go, and my classmate's boyfriend was like, 'Oh, you play Pokemon?' And it turns out that person was actually someone from the community that I've never met
Yeah,
by name.
person by name. Yeah.
I used that by username, and I was like, "Oh wow."
I'm gonna tell you a funny story.
Because small.
I was actually streaming.
Yeah.
So basically, this was in my hand, one was the camera, the other one is chat, the third was the game. A lot of people think that I play 3 phones. No, that's waste of resources. I play my account. That's all.
Okay.
So, and I'm like, we run into the group of people. So Nodier, Marcos,
Okay.
etc.
Right.
And then there's a guy, hey, how's it going? And they're like, hey, what's up? Like, how's it going? This and that. I was with DVD, but hey, how's it going? Blah blah blah. And it's like, oh, good, yeah, nice to see you. We walk like 500 meters. Like, I make sure that we're far enough. Like, DVD. Who was that?
You know.
Like, because like we talk almost on a daily basis, and the guy like we know each other, but it's like so who was that?
It's another my face.
Yeah, I didn't know him by face, and he's like, who's that? Oh, that's Ed. I'm like, that
man.
makes sense. We actually went around the park, and we saw them again,
Right.
and then it's like, yeah, like blah blah blah. It's like, did you know? No, but I asked David afterwards, because I mean, I'm not gonna be rude to you. I'm just gonna say hi, like if you know me.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, that was something funny that I could tell. Like whenever I actually was at the park, I was actually live. I was like, yeah, how's it going? Yeah, nice to see you. Long time or whatever. And it's like, oh, yeah. What's your favorite event of all times?
And in the game.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't quite remember, because I don't usually play a lot of events. I know that's like the tours, and like what's the other one that they do?
You have your medals, because then you can remember which tours or which things that you do. There you have those two over there.
Like
that one.
This one. Team building great world championship. Oh, that was one. Those like.
Oh, that was the other. So you don't participate in many events.
No, I don't. Again, usually I don't spend money.
Free
in the
to
game.
play. Yeah, I mean that's something else. Okay, but okay, so
Let's see. I think this is the one.
otherwise, yeah.
This is
Otherwise, what's the event? Yeah, because
This is the medal that they do. This one here. These are the ones that I've played out like from home.
okay,
Oh, this like.
that is interesting. That is interesting.
Yeah, there's a one that I know that's like in certain like countries, like they do like a tour with like a bus or something. Those are the only ones that I've ever felt interested to go to. Specifically, if you go to like Japan, because where the mom was born.
We need
there.
to go. Yeah, I need to go to Japan. Everybody needs to go to Japan.
They actually did the thing with the visas that like a bit like lifted off.
It's a starting to, I believe.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be so hype.
Yeah. Okay. So probably I'm just gonna assume. I'm just gonna say the community day for. Yeah,
If I have to give you an answer, yeah, community.
To say, but it's like, so you have never been to an in-person event.
In fact, I
We
think
need to go to a Japan event. That will be fun.
yeah, that'll be fun. In fact, I think the Gibble one, they mentioned it was at home last year, right? So yeah,
No, it was.
it's live.
Yeah,
The community for Gibble.
we saw each other.
No, but it was like I was like in December afterwards. I mean, like when it came out, because also like in May of that year. So it was at home, and I didn't have lunch practically that day. I just had dinner, because it was like what, from like 11, because back then when it was like still 6 hours. I did from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. just nonstop. My mom's like, "Go have lunch." I'm like, "No."
No, it was in December.
No, yeah, those are the one in December, because
The
that's
second
that
part.
was the second one. Yeah, when
The main
they
one.
bring all of them together. Yeah, I mean, well, the main
The
one
main
back in
one.
May of last year.
Shoot. So it was. I wasn't done. I didn't say.
I was just nonstop.
6-6.
I
I went out. I went out with in
No.
June. I went out with DVD.
No, I did.
Yes.
I was at home. I was just all day.
I mean, I had to get an FX house to max 6. So I mean, no.
I think it not make sense until I did those trades with you when you got the Honda one.
I'm like, he's like, I want Garchomp. Like, take them. Take them all. I had like 60 or so left. It was like, he took them all. But
Yeah, you got a lot.
do you PvP?
Yes. I do. Especially when it started. I did a lot. I would constantly, every single day, just max out the 5 sets of battles you could do. And I was just very annoyed when I just couldn't continue. Let me see if I can like go here.
You know what?
Yeah.
Send a battle over.
What's that battle? Okay. Like for what league though?
Whichever you want.
Okay.
Probably Great League is fine. I'm just looking down so they don't say that I look at what team you pick.
Okay.
It's gonna go with
Oh, wait.
something random.
Yeah, because for Master League, I definitely
That's
don't
fine.
have anything.
Just send it for Great League. It's fine. I'll
Okay.
adjust.
Okay.
I'll pick something really meta.
Let's see. People can see like my filter now. That's how I organize.
That's also cool. So that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm looking down, Chad, just so I don't have a. So you guys don't say that I'm like cheating or anything.
I went with something.
This will be
maybe semi-meta.
This will be very spicy. Maybe I can make it work.
All our PvP peers just look at me. It's like, yeah, let's see how bad I can play, or maybe not. So let's see. All right, right when you're.
All right. Let's see. Should I play better just looking at this for now? Ooh.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's not good.
Nope. Definitely not good for you. Oh, really?
Let's see. Hopefully he doesn't have a Machamp over there or a fighting type, a Metachamp or something.
No, I don't.
Oh, that works.
Yeah, it works. My pseudo fighting type.
That's a good one. What rank is it?
I actually didn't know until like recently, but this is actually a rank 3, and I've had it since like the longest time.
Oh my.
And I just like level it up because I had it on candy and some rare candies in storage. And I've been using it ever since.
Rock slide. I count, but sometimes people think that I don't.
To be honest, to be honest, I don't really count. Like, even though, like, yeah, I do play a lot, and I do have a bit of a high ranking in Sylph, but most of the time I don't count. I just go by feeling, you know, team instinct, just go by the gut feeling. Just
Yes.
like, I think this is enough, or I think not, or just like, okay, I think I can switch.
Just I don't know. I'm gonna say it like in my own way. Like whenever I tap the screen, I kind of have a count of what's going on.
Right.
Like, you know, like I have tapped the screen more or less this many times, so like I'm probably like this person is probably in this move, so that's I don't like. Yes, I count, but it's like I don't count like all the time. Like I'm not there. Like, you know, like whenever it's like, oh, like okay, that was 7. Like okay, like he needs 2 more. No, I'm always like it's more of a feel for me as well. It's like not so much of like exactly like counting specifically.
I think one time Agus did tell me about that like it's like a very like math thing. Like if you're good with math, you just have a feeling like, okay, I think this is good, and you just go with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like for example, like Mewtwo, and that's why I was so pissed last time whenever I was like the last match that I had for factions.
Oh yeah.
Like the game was awful. Like I wasn't blaming anybody. Like the game was bad.
Yeah, I think they had like a glitch back then.
Yeah, it was a huge glitch. But I was like, Emma, I know how to count. That was 5 and 7. Like that was 4 and 4. So it didn't count one of mine. So it wasn't 5 and 4. That is like for side strike is usually that is 5 and 4.
Okay.
So the first one takes a little bit longer. The second one is like right after. So they're almost 4-4. But it's like, yeah, I was like, Emma, I counted. I was counting. Like I wasn't just playing. Like it was just like, yeah. Like that was something that it really pissed me off because it should have been 2-1 in our favor, but yeah, it was just like
it was awful.
And then I get like at 1 a.m. because I saw it right whenever he sent it. I think it was like 1 a.m. Like, oh yeah, like you guys get 1 more week to play because the game has been acting up. I'm like, great now.
Ooh, you know this is not good for me because the last one I have is. Come on, let's go!
Oh no! Oh my god!
Not good for me. You know that's a joke.
That's 2.
Everyone goes.
That's too much shots. GG's. That was good. Like, that was good. I'm not. Like,
I was so close.
if I would have saved all the shields for the Victorville, I would have won it.
You got that out. I just thought of those memes in which every mud boy just like get like one small leaf and they're dead. And I have like flashbacks of GBL whenever those freaking Shadow Victorvilles would come at my Swampford. I'm just like, I'm dead. I'm dead.
Oh god. Yeah. Okay. That was good.
Yeah, that was intense.
That was good because I kind of had a chance. Whenever you saw like the chance, you're like,
No, it's not a chance. I was like, okay, I think I have enough to beat.
how do you feel of the current state of the game?
Oh wow, that's actually
That's a loaded question. Yeah, just
Yeah.
take your time and tell us like how you feel about it. Like, Niantic, we had our issues with it. Do you
Yeah.
feel like they have changed stuff? Are they in the right path? Whatever you feel, like just talk to us about the current state of the game. How do you feel about it?
okay. So I like to go like in a certain order, having my list. So the first thing I think of when you ask me about that, it's the game. I mean, it's definitely like, added a lot of like improvements, a lot of like quality of life stuff. But at the core, the game is still pretty much the same. It's just catching and doing raids and stuff. So it's kind of stagnant in that aspect. In regards to like things that Niantic has done, again, I think like the things that were done while we were all quarantined definitely helped the player base. But as soon as like restrictions were getting off, we lost a lot of things that you would think, like for example, like the distance to get rich Pokestops. I think that was something that should have been one permanent and from the beginning, and second should have always remained from the beginning. And I think they did put it back after a while, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm gonna tell you something.
Yeah.
Do you know that the distance or the spinning radius is not the same here as it is in a place that is farther away from the equator?
Didn't know that.
Okay, that's a thing. So in Kansas, let's say that I can probably reach to that stop.
Right.
Or to the other, like maybe even to that one over there.
Mm.
In England or in Canada, I know I can reach that one in the corner. Our outer circle, it's a lot bigger.
Right.
So whenever they actually put out the announcement, they said the radius for the Pokestop and gyms will remain as a standard.
Mhm.
Like it will not change after the thing. Other things will. They change it after less than 24 hours. They changed their vlog after less than 24 hours. That they said like they shush it. But yeah, they switched it back. But it's like if you look in the map, like just zoom out a little bit, you're like giving a little anxiety because you're so zoomed in. You zoom out. I designed half of those Pokestops.
Yeah, you're working with a lot.
And here's the thing. I designed them so you can drive in that rectangle and you can hit them.
Right.
I was designing them with the lower radius. Whenever they said they were gonna shrink it back, I'm like,
Bro.
like all that work that we did because it was a community for like what 6 months, 8 months. What in the trash? Because yeah, like oh yeah, you could have not reached that one or you could have not reached the other one. Like yeah, but like that was the idea, so people can literally go around. Yeah, and like just what is it? Farm up some Pokeballs. So
For community.
anything.
Or anything, yeah.
I mean, spotlight hours. I usually can go around that. Then I go hit a couple clusters. But yeah, like, but whenever they say no, like the radius is going back, I'm like.
Yeah, I was just.
What about all the work and all this stuff that like?
There's also the thing with me back at home because at first I didn't have a lot of focus stuff, so I had to usually go walk. But then they implemented more, and with the bigger radius, I was able to just spin them, daily. But then it started reducing. It was like I had to wait and hope that the drift, because I live, would be able to get me as close as possible. So it was definitely tough. So some things I've done have been definitely taken to question. One of them I highly complain about, not often in public, but I do. It's the community days, because for a while they would do it from the time from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. Around the time I'd be working or maybe having lunch while at work. And again, most of the time I would leave work around 2. That's usually when there's like less customers.
Yep.
So that will be easier for me. And also they decided to do it more often on a Saturday, which again, I don't know for many people, but I also still work on a Saturday. So I prefer much better on a Sunday, which is usually a free day for most people. just go out and spend time with friends and family.
Yeah, I mean, I think they don't they go back and forth.
They do, but
I think they go back and forth and doing Saturday now. Like
Yeah.
they go one is Saturday, one is Sunday. One
no,
is
but the last before the last one we had, it was mostly Saturdays, and I would have to struggle, be at work, spinning while attending concerts, or I would have to be like, hey, can I leave for a few hours, and then I'll be back until 5 hours after, because it would take me a few hours after it finished to get back to work.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I was quite the struggle.
Yeah. Do you plan on putting the game anytime soon?
No, not really. Maybe I might have had a passing thought at one point, but no, I really don't. Again, I still love Pokemon. There's a connection with Pokemon Home, so I could set myself mostly shiny Pokemon, so I could collect them over. I know it might be kind of cheap, but I would prefer it that way. And, shiny still shiny. And yeah, that would be the main reason why we keep playing it. And also because there's a community. The community really keeps me tight. I like hanging out with you guys.
Yeah. So, what part of the game do you like the most? And then, collecting is a big part for me. I mean, I don't know what your storage is at. Mine is at 6,150.
Mine, again, is 3,650.
But mine is max. I have so many memories. Do you have any stories you want to tell us about that? Or the shinies? Because you mentioned the shinies. I don't think the shinies is a cheap story. You know what? I usually don't get the shinies. I get them traded.
Oh, okay.
I usually just I get a shiny Registeel, a shiny Registeel, a shiny Regice.
Or,
hey, can I get a Ligaton from you? I got a shiny Registeel, and people are like, yes. Man, I usually just go with that.
I actually do remember that you gave me this one. This is the one that you gave me. Oh wait, well, it's not this one.
No.
Then maybe this was the one. Yeah, you gave me this one time for I think on one of your streams. Because we had Lucky Friend.
Yeah.
And then you just hey, what do you want? I was like,
oh yeah.
Fine.
It's a 91. I
Yeah,
think mine was on 89. So mine was a Ho-Ho, I think, or something.
Something like that. Yeah, I gave you.
Yeah,
so
but it's that's why whenever I was doing raids this time around for Javolto, I was oh look, Swino, why they gotcha. Javolto, I wanted 3 or 4, so I can give back if people want it.
Right.
I only had 2 for the longest time, and then yesterday I got a couple more. Yeah, but yeah, 96.
Actually this. If I recall correct, this might be the first legendary shiny that I got, and it was funny because it was the last day, the first time or the second time that PoGo came for raids.
Okay.
And it was right around near the neighborhood, and I only had 3 passes back then before remotes were a thing, and I was just trying to hope that I could get him. And then finally, the very last one is when I caught him.
Nice.
And because it was a 96, of course, I would keep it and try to level it up. Yeah, I'm as a best buddy even.
Oh, yeah, you're ahead of me on that, I think. My Ho-Ho. Is my Ho-Ho best buddy yet? No, my Ho-Ho is not best buddy.
Oh, it's not? Oh, okay. It was a fun joke.
It's in the roster for this week.
For the Masters, right?
Yeah. Okay, so any other shinies that you think that are interesting or that you really like from your collection? Because you say collection. You collect oh my gosh, we were gonna leave this out. Tell us a little bit about let's go back and tell us a little bit about your collection of the
serious?
Nintendo. Because you don't collect only the DS or the Switch. No, you collect from the Game Boy. Yeah.
Okay.
The cartridges from whatever. Just talk to us about it. Yeah, go. Just.
Okay, so. Like I said from the beginning, I started with Gen 3 with Ruby and Sapphire, but that was on the emulator, right? The first physical game that I had was after I begged my parents because, being, Chinese, Asian, they don't usually want me to play games. But this one time when I was maybe 7 or 8 or something back then, I just begged them I want this game. And I got Pokemon Emerald because that was the only game I couldn't play on the emulator for whatever reason. And it was obviously one of the most amazing games. A lot of people praise Emerald to be one of the better games in the franchise. So that was the start of my collection. After that, it was Pokemon Diamond. That was because of a friend gifted it on my 10th birthday, funnily enough. Because, the trainers in the games start when they're 10 years old.
Yep.
And then after that, another friend who's actually my best friend and also my neighbor, had Pokemon Pearl, but for some reason he had a second spare Pokemon Pearl, so he gifted that to me also as a gift for my birthday. And then they actually give him back a Pokemon Diamond, so he could also have both games. But then I think I didn't get a lot of games afterwards. Actually, two of them, Pokemon Leaf Green and Sapphire, was given to me by a classmate because I don't know, he was a kind of lonely kid, and for some reason he was leaving the country.
Yep.
And he borrowed me. He let me borrow the games for a bit because he wanted me to like level up his teams and pass the games.
Yep.
But then as soon as he was about to leave, he was just like, "Okay, you can just stay with him." I'm like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, thank you." So I had two games there. And it wasn't until maybe 2010 when Soul Silver and Heart Gold came out, the remakes. And that's also the second time when I begged my friends, like, please, can I just have these games? And they didn't buy me just Heart Gold, Soul Silver, but they also got me Pokemon Platinum.
Okay.
Which, again, those are also like two games that are also arguably really great in the series, especially Platinum. And I also spent like a whole month because it was December. I started on my birthday. I remember clearly. Actually, in both games, I have all three set of stars because I would just trade in between the games. And that was that. And then for the longest time, I think it wasn't until maybe 2013 that I got another game because this actually from me saving up money.
Yeah.
Because in Chinese community, they usually give you like a red envelope every like New Year's or whatever.
It's usually like New Year, well, Chinese New Year or your birthday
or their Christmas.
Christmas.
Yeah. So I would have some money saved up from that, and I would just went out to the store and bought Pokemon White. And then here's the thing: I did it for a long time. I started thinking maybe to like stop playing the games because we were having to jump to 3D with 3DS.
Yep.
With X and Y, and I was gonna beg my parents to buy me another console.
Yep.
But a friend actually from school let me borrow his 2DS, which was a bit lesser quality, but it was still a
You
console.
can still play it, yeah.
Yeah, and from then, my mom did consider like, okay, well, I guess why not? And she bought me Pokemon White, and I was able. I still also put countless hours into it. Mainly, that's when I started with the competitive aspect of Pokemon.
Okay.
I have a lot of like Pokemon that I bred, so I could be able to get like perfect IVs. It's not just 3. For the people who don't play the main series or like mainly Pokemon Go, instead of just 3 stats, we have 6. And it's a mess.
What are they? Because it's a hexagonal.
It's a hexagonal. So besides HP, attack, and defense, there's also there's no stamina. There's special attack because you can either have physical or special attack.
Okay.
There's also special defense and speed.
Okay.
Those are the 6 traits in the main series games. And that's when I got into the whole EV training, IV training, which is also not. I mean, it's also random, but there's some degree that you can control it, especially
and then
in breeding.
What is it? Soda pop. What is it? Like the things that you can give it, like the Pokemon. There's some potions of some sort.
Oh, so I think that you're talking about the vitamins for the EVs. So
no, I'm talking about the ones that you can give it to raise the IVs. Like, aren't they like an item that you can?
No, actually.
Okay.
Not. So the thing with IVs,
Bottle caps. Isn't that like a?
Yeah, that was later. I think it was starting from Gen 7. I think.
Oh,
I think it was Gen 7, in which you would collect the bottle caps from like a battle facility.
Yeah.
And you would trade to an NPC so that it would do this thing called hyper trading. But it only worked if your Pokemon was level 100. So you go from like 1 to 100, and if it's level 100, you could give it the bottle caps, and for one particular IV, it will be able to increase.
Oh, okay.
So that was the workaround, so that people who were into competitive play wouldn't just have to like spend hours just breeding Pokemon. Again, it's 6 IVs, and most people will do 5, but the hardcore ones would go for 6, and even the more hardcore ones would go for the shiny perfect IVs. You could just imagine how many hours people would spend.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot. So
yeah, it would be so much.
How many total games do you have, like physical with the cartridge and with their box and everything?
Okay, so quick round of it. So
because that's gonna be the thumbnail.
Oh,
Like, you just make me think. It's like, just take a picture and that's it. You're like,
you just took it out of my mouth because that was one of the thumbnail ideas I had.
oh, nice. So yeah, I was just thinking, that would be cool.
In fact, I'm gonna update it over the weekend so I can show you some. So just quick round. So Emerald, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Black, White, Black 2. I don't have White 2. Got X, Y, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, Sun, Moon, 2 copies of Ultra Sun. Oh, I'm sorry, Ultra Moon, because I got one that I bought by myself, and then a second one that came in a bundle, a dual pack. That's where I have Ultra Sun. I never played it. Then I skipped over Let's Go. I don't know. I just don't feel like playing Let's Go. And then I have Pokemon Shield. I also got Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, the remake. I haven't bought Legends Arceus because this is not mostly about battles. I've kind of skipped over that. And now that the Gen 9 games are going to come out with Scarlet and Violet, I want to buy Violet, which I have already reserved. Oh, which by the way, if I can show off this t-shirt.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean,
So-
you see where the screen goes up to about.
Okay. So, I recently joined this community here in Panama. I don't think it's shown here. Stadium, yeah. Stadium 507. It's a competitive community here in Panama. I actually told them about the stream, and they were like, "Yeah, tell me about the launch event." So I'm like, "Yeah, I joined them recently because seeing how the things that they've introduced for Scarlet and Violet for the competitive aspect, it's gonna be really interesting with the whole Terrestrialize thing." I was just like, "Hey, I texted a friend that I met a few months ago. Like, do you know any community here in Panama?" And he was like, "Okay, I'll let you join." And they got me this sweet shirt that in the back. Like, you see it? It's
Yep.
like Garchomp15. So I was just like, let's do 2 in 1. My
There's
name.
Stadium is the links for the socials for the. Okay, let me follow them a little bit.
So on the day of the event, when Scarlet and Violet are gonna be released worldwide, they will have a launch event as well here in Panama, so that we can all share the game together and start almost at the same time and start this next 3 years of competitive in Switch. Perhaps the last games on the Switch if the next console doesn't come out by then. But yeah, this is a really sweet shirt that gave me.
Where is it? Like where's the?
It's gonna be in Parque Andrés Bello.
Okay.
You know where that is, right? So yeah, it's gonna be there. I think the launch date for Scarlet and Violet was either the 16th or the 18th of November.
Okay.
And basically, yeah, if you reserve with like the people here called Planet Play,
Yeah.
they will have the game ready. If you tell them like, yeah, I'm gonna reserve for the event for Stadium.
Oh, nice. That's good to know. I mean, this is gonna be released soon, so before that, and like you guys maybe somebody, since you're gonna share this with them, and then
Yeah,
maybe they share it in socials or whatever.
perhaps.
Okay, we talk about the rockets, we talk about the grind, we talk about the PvP. Games, that was very important to me. Any other stories that you have that Pokemon stories or Pokemon related stories that you want to share with us?
So let's go back to that part that you mentioned about like me forgetting, because I actually still remember. So there's a few that I did want to share. Oh god. So the first one was when I just started my first year of university. So I had this English class, right? And he listen to me to speak English. I don't want to like brag, but I think I'm a really good English. So I tried to tell my professor because mostly the university in Spanish. I was like, hey, I had a really high score in the entrance exam for English, and you're listening to me, in person. I think you can maybe pass this for me. And he was really like, I don't know, stubborn about it, and was like, okay, I'll let you pass only if you made like a speech about your career, which is computer science. And I was just so bummed about it because I was just like, here's the proof. Why do you need me to do this? So he told me to do that, right? So what I'm going with this is that the day that I was working on that speech, I was just really lazy about it, and I saw a Ninetales raid. I still remember it was a Ninetales raid near my house at a park, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I could give myself like an hour break or something and just go and catch it. I did the raid. I did beat it. I got it. I don't remember what AB was, but whatever. So on my way out of the park, I actually saw a little squirrel. And I try to be more of a animal person nowadays, and I saw this squirrel. Oh, looks so very cute. So I try to approach it, slowly and try to take photos of it. But then I noticed that the squirrel was kind of like having a seizure or something. Like it was just not moving. It was falling out of balance. And because it was a busy street in the neighborhood and there were cars going by, I feel really bad if it got run over. So like, it's a wild animal. I took the courage and I tried to grab it and put it in the nearby park so that it'd be a little bit safer. But then I kept noticing that it wasn't acting okay. So, and again, I don't own pets, so I don't know how to treat an animal. So I was just asking a friend nearby. It's like, hey, do you know any pet stores around here in the area? And he's like, yeah, there's this one over here, but I think if you go by car, maybe it's like a 10, 15-minute drive, but I was by myself and I don't have a car.
Yep.
So if I had to get there, it would be like maybe 30 minutes. And I was wearing sandals, by the way. No sneakers. So I was just like, let's just do it. Let's take the animal. So I took the squirrel in my hand, and I was walking out the park, and then suddenly one of the neighbors saw me. And he's like, hey, what's up with the squirrel? I was like, I don't know, it's having a seizure. Maybe it fell from the tree, or maybe it sucked in some of the smoke nearby.
Yep.
And he kind of pitied it, and then I noticed that he was in his car. I was just randomly thought, hey, you want to give me a ride over? Very awkwardly, and he was just thought about it for like 3 seconds. He was like, sure, why not? And I jumped in. And as I was on the way going to the pet store, he started telling me how when he was younger, he used to like go to the national park in Panama with Metropolitano.
Yeah.
With his aunt, who would study like, I don't know, something biology related, and he would play with squirrels a lot. So back from his childhood memory, he thought like, yeah, I want to help out the squirrel. I'm like, okay, that sounds really cool. And when I got to the store, he left, and I tried to ask like, hey, do you guys look out after squirrels? And they're like, that's an exotic animal, so no. And I was, okay, do you know any other place that might treat it? And there's this other place, which the store is actually called Mundo Animal, but if you translate it, it's called Animal Planet, like the TV show.
World.
Animal World, yeah, sorry. Animal World.
So I mean, yeah, the translation, yeah, is Animal World. But yeah, go for it, go for it. I
Oh,
want to know if the, yeah.
I was thinking, like, you know, because of that name, I decided to go, and I was sprinting a little bit. Took again like maybe 10 minutes to get there walking. That wasn't that far. When I get there, there's like a bunch of other people with like, you know, cats or dogs or usual pets. And I go to the counter looking like a hysterical hobo or something with a squirrel that was also bleeding from its mouth.
Oh, now I was bleeding. Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus.
because I was sprinting my way over there, and then started putting a little blood. So I tried to like not sprint so much. And when I get to the counter, I just ask the lady, "Can you treat this squirrel?" And I get the same response. It's an exotic animal. But then I'm just kind of like looking kind of disappointed. And then the lady maybe thought about it a little bit, and then decided to go inside and check with the medics and see what they could do. And I stood there at the counter with everybody else looking at me like a freak, holding a squirrel in my hand. And I waited like maybe like a good 5 minutes, and the nurse came out, or whoever, and they were like, I think we can put it like in an oxygen tank, and we'll see what happens. And then I gave them the squirrel, right? But at that point, I think maybe the adrenaline went off, and I'm just like, and I'm all sweaty. I have blood and squirrel snot in my mouth, in my hand. So I just want to get back home and finish my speech thing.
So did you know if the squirrel made it?
That's the mystery I'm gonna leave you, because to this day I have no clue. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing the ending, but yeah, I just don't know what happened to it. And sometimes I go back and check if I may see it, but I never heard about it. Again, it was a wild animal, and technically I didn't have a responsibility over it, and the adrenaline just kind of went off, and I was just like, yeah, that happened. Another one story. Does you want to do?
Yeah, go for it.
So another story that also kind of happened recently. This is the one I was telling you about last Saturday.
Yeah.
So there's this beach or place in Colon, which is a province here in Panama, for those who don't know. And they are known for being a coastal province. There's right next to the waters. So there's this place called Isla Grande, which translates to Big Island. It's a beach, really nice place. 3 years ago, it was the first time that I went with some friends over. And the first time we went, we just basically stayed at the beach. But then the second time that we went, I was kind of bored, and I just popped out Pokemon Go to see if there's anything I could do, and I found there were a few spots around. But there was one particular Pokestop that was a bit further away from us, and I thought, why not? I guess I could get there. And one of my friends was kind of worried, and she looked over at me and was like, I'll accompany you. Okay. So we go and walk around, and we try to find this Pokestop. And for the longest time, we thought it was gonna be like on the lower level of the island, but it actually wasn't. It was like an inclination going up to the mountains. So we started trudging over. She was like, "Yeah, why not?" And she accompanied me, and we kept walking. And we eventually found the Pokestop. But the image of the Pokestop looked a bit different from what we found, because it was supposed to be a lighthouse. But what we found was actually more like a radio station. A radio tower. So when we kept walking up, it was very humid. It was all slippery, and the handles we could grab onto, they were actually rusty.
Mm-hmm.
So grabbing onto them was difficult. So there was like a wide fork road. I took the right side, and that's where we found the radio tower. And then when we went back, I was just like, why not? Let's check the other route. When we went out, it was even higher up in the mountain. And eventually we did find this lighthouse.
Okay, so they just moved it down. The location wasn't right.
It seems like it was. That seemed to me to be the case. So we found this lighthouse, really cool place, and we're just like, did we even get in here? Because it was like a really old lighthouse, and because it was also very rusty and it didn't look like it was safe. It just gave me the gifs, and I was just like, let's just go back.
Yeah.
But then a few days after, a friend who lives around, he was telling me like, no, actually that place they give it constant maintenance, and you can actually go there. It's encouraged to. It's a lighthouse in Ilarande. And then the second time that we went was when I was able to actually go up and I took a few photos. That's actually another of the thumbnails that I want to show you later. And that's actually one of the really cool stories of how Pokemon Go, as an exploration motivation, led me to explore and find this lighthouse in a really random place. Because even the friend who invited us over to the beach didn't know about this. He was just like, he's been there his whole life and he's never been there. And I was definitely like, hey, let's go there. Maybe we can take a few pictures over there.
That is cool. Yeah, because I don't know. Yeah, like he said, like exploration is something that Pokemon Go is like. I just look at the map. It's like, okay, I can check this out, check that out. Like even whenever I go to a new city, I'm like, oh, okay, so there's that restaurant, there's this, there's that around the hotel or whatever, and it's like it's always really helpful. So yeah, so that's cool because I don't know, I don't know remember like places, but yeah, I have been places like that it's like, oh, I would have never found or thought.
Exactly, that's one of the appeals of Pokemon Go actually, and also because I actually like try to maintain my physical health.
Yeah.
Pokemon Go as a walking motivation really helps with that, and I just keep walking and exploring while I play a game that I love.
That's very interesting. So, if you can make a quality of life update or change to the game, what will it be and why?
That's a good question because I've probably thought of a few, but I can't remember on the top of my head. What could I think of? Let's see. Let's just fumble around and see what could be optimized. This is actually also a good question for me specifically in my career, my field of expertise, because I am currently even though I'm doing computer science, which is kind of general study field, I'm actually very interested nowadays in the idea of data analysis.
Yep.
And be able to like produce products that are user friendly, because philosophy in my field is to be able to do backwards development, start from the user first, and then work backwards how to develop the product. Ask them what do they feel it's necessary, what could be changed or whatnot. So, actually, now that you asked me that, I think I'm in the position as well.
Well, you think about it. You can always show us your badges real quick, so we can like have them saved up or record and like from the 41 down. Just open the 41 and then just swipe like.
Oh, I just swiped them.
Yep. So that was the Great League one. League, okay.
Yeah, the collector.
Of course, Kanto.
Can't miss
We
those.
talked about that. That's a lot. Did you jump? You did jumps?
Yeah, I did a lot. Again, because since I would need the coins, I would just have to get the gems a lot. And also, I recently started a second account, very recently, at the beginning of the year, basically.
Yeah.
And it's already level 34 as of like a month ago.
Yep.
So, yeah, I also did a lot of gymming as well. I think right now, actually, that place that I told you in Islande.
Yeah, don't show the name because never know where the video will end. But it's like 6 days.
Yeah, it's been 6 days.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What was the friendship?
Friendship. This is the one with the.
Here. No, you ended up here, so I was just saying like friendship. Okay. Idol, sorry.
Yeah, Idol. Yeah. 88.
7. That's a lot of trades.
Yeah, now this with the second account, it's also really helpful. I've gotten a lot of like I think it was Walrein, the Roserade ones, the ones that we have this year for community.
Yep.
Also jogging, even though I walk a lot, but it's still not enough apparently.
Yep.
Get that 10,000 kilometers. So evolving. I think if anything, maybe this is an inherent effect of the tags that we have. Because, look, for example, the way that I categorize my Pokemon.
Yep.
So there's like the ones that have like the
percentage.
Okay, it has Diego, but yeah, Diego, hi.
Hi, Diego.
So yeah, I usually name it by the percentage, and then A is for the attack, defense for defense, and H for HP. The N, that's a remnant from when we had the first checking systems because it was just like the leader telling you stuff, and they would have like some lines, and you would know like, oh, that's a 15. So it was, I think Spark said something in like, yeah, never seen before, something like that. There's some quote that they used to throw.
Yeah.
So I grabbed from there, and I grabbed like the letter that stood out the most to me.
Yeah.
And so I put the N for to represent the 15. If it was an I, because they were something like very impressive, then that would be a 14 for me.
I remember that one of them was Battle with the Best of Them.
Or something like that.
And I found that being kind of silly, but yeah.
The other one thing I do is that I usually organize it usually with EVG for Great League, and if I for you, I just use EVU instead. And I organize it by the percentages and also at the end of the rank, so that it could be like if they're like two very similar percentages, I could go for like the one that has better rank or whatever. But yeah, I think this may be like the only thing I could comment about like type of quality of life if they could like I don't know prove some sort of like searcher, I guess.
Yeah.
For PvP.
They recently did, but it's not that
optimized.
Well, it's like now you put me on the spot, isn't it like attack 0? Yes. No, 0 attack.
Oh, okay.
So it shows you everything with 0 attack.
Oh.
Or 0 to 5, yeah, 0 attack. And then defense and HP.
Mm-hmm.
And then like you can find them like that, but that's still not good enough in my opinion to find them or like make your collection
or maybe I just thought this from like Genshin because I'm mostly a Genshin player nowadays. Recently Genshin Impact they had this quality of life in which you could show like specific stats you want to work on or like specific like equipment you want to put on the character or how to make certain teams around the character. So I'm thinking maybe they could do like some sort of recommendations in which they could show you, oh, you have this raid coming up. Maybe you could use this type of combination of Pokemon, which they kind of do when you inside of the raid. They recommend you stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe they could do it like outside so that you could be able to prepare beforehand. Like, when you go to the selection screen over here, you can be like, yeah, I guess I could use this or this and the other thing.
Yeah, recommendations for Pokemon Go has always been an issue. I remember I delete 300% Agrons because they kept coming up for raids.
Right.
Back in the day, I was like, no, I'm done. Like, it was just like, I don't like seeing stuff dead.
Yeah.
So I just I delete them. So
right.
yeah. Pokemon Go hasn't been that great with recommendations when it comes to Pokemon. So
yeah, sad.
Any final thoughts? Anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to tell us? Any message you want to leave us with?
Sure. Plug in.
Just do your plug. It's fine.
Okay. If you guys like Genshin Impact, I do actually have Twitch, which I don't use often nowadays. It's called Yamato the Senpai, which Andre will plug afterwards.
We'll put in the
links.
Yeah.
And also on my YouTube channel as well. I upload usually just like moments that I like about the game that I want to like just like refresh and just rewatch again. That's why I usually don't do a lot of commentary. Although there are a few videos that I do. Also on Twitter I do have an account, but again I don't usually use my socials a lot. But that's most likely that. If you guys like anything about anime or manga, I usually like talking about that as well. You can just ask me or whatever. And as I always tell my Genshin group, stay hydrated, take a lot of sleep. In fact, Alzheimer's is a thing, so take a lot of rest, especially you, Andrew, because you work a lot. So try to take as many necessary breaths as you can. As a
I know. I appreciate it. I was actually gonna say now you guys know somebody else from the Panama community. I mean, we had Agas in the Trainer Tips video. You guys have seen DVD with me, and in the Trainer Tips video. So if you guys ever come home to Panama, you have a couple people to hang out with. I know it's always
we're a cool community.
Yeah, it's always difficult to like think about going abroad because you don't know the language. His English to me might be even better than me. I have a broader vocabulary, but you have less of an accent. So yeah, like you were right when you said that. You were not bragging. So, Chad, if you don't have any more questions, let's start closing up here. Thank you to our previous people that came to the show. Thank you. You were going to be the first instinct going in that column. Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Don't forget to hit the follow button, subscribe if you're new.
Like the video.
Yeah, and leave a comment below. I don't know, If you don't have anything to say, just put your favorite emoji in. So
Go Instinct. That last comment.
yeah,
Yes.